Hello, today I'm going to be making some soup. These are my ingredients: garlic, shallot, ginger, that's my kabocha squash, and then in the back there I have coconut milk and coconut oil. This is one of my favorite squashes. It's a winter squash and I got it at Whole Foods. Hello, so today I'm going to be making a kabocha squash soup. So this is what the kabocha squash looks like when I cut it in half. And I'm just going to use one whole kabocha squash. This one is like 3 pounds. And the first step is going to be cutting the squash and roasting it. So here you'll see me taking out the center and the seeds of the squash, and you're going to need a really sharp knife to cut this. It's very hard, it's like pumpkin. And you'll just see me chopping all that beautiful squash into kind of large chunks. Okay, so the kabocha squash is all cut into similar sized pieces, no seeds. And I'm just going to put a little bit of salt and olive oil. And these are going to roast like 30 minutes. You just have to check them to see when they're soft. So I'm going to put them in a 400-degree oven, and I'll check them in like 30 minutes. Bake well! And here I'm just dicing up a shallot and peeling some ginger. Okay, so the squash is roasting and it's almost ready, so I'm going to start sauteing the rest of the ingredients. I'm going to use organic extra virgin coconut oil, about 1 big tablespoon. And in here we have the diced shallot, some garlic, and some peeled ginger. And you don't need to cut it really small because we're going to puree it later. So we got some coconut oil. And we'll heat all this up. A little bit more. This is how cold it is. And I also added some sea salt and black pepper at this point. And I'm just going to use a spoon, saute all of the aromatics. Here you'll see me checking the squash, seeing if it's ready, and it's not quite ready yet. And here you'll see a little tour of our kitchen in the beautiful Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Look at that beautiful urban site. That beautiful car wash. Ah, the serenity. So let's check on our aromatics. Looks like it's nice and sauteed and browned. So we're gonna add about a cup of coconut milk and simmer. And look, our squash is ready. It's nice and beautifully roasted. And I checked it with a fork to make sure it is nice and tender. And here I'll show you the texture it should be. So I took the squash out of the oven. They're looking really nice. Have a nice soft texture. So I'm just going to use a paring knife now to just take off all the skin, like this. And it should come off kind of easily. It's still kind of hot. And then once the skin is off, just put it in with the coconut milk and the aromatics. And I added some water to this too. Alright, so I have peeled all the squash. This is just the skins in here. And here I have the coconut milk and all of the peeled squash. So I will admit that it was pretty annoying to peel all of it this time. I don't know why. Just the texture of the squash was kind of hard. So maybe next time I'll try peeling it before I roast it and see if that's easier. But the skin actually is really delicious to eat as a snack. Really good. Now you can eat the skin of kabocha squash. So now I'm just going to puree the soup, and then after that put it back in the pot and I'll re-season it. So this is what it looks like after I pureed it. It is really thick. So now I'm gonna reheat it and add the rest of the coconut milk. So I'm gonna taste it now and see what seasoning it needs. Nice and spicy from the ginger. I'm going to add a little bit more salt and maybe a little bit more black pepper too. I'm just using sea salt for this. And then I do have a little bit more of the coconut milk, so I think it's okay for now, and maybe it can drizzle a little bit on the top of the bowls. Here is a bowl of the finished product, and would you look at that? It's like a work of art. Some beautiful swirl on top there. And la la la, let's walk to the other room. You wanna try it?
Yeah, can you? Oh, my milk? Whoa, what is that creamy stuff? What is it?
Coconut milk.
Ooh, nice. Let's see. Smell test? Passed. Smells good. I can smell the ginger. Very gingery. Definitely really good. Thumbs up.
It is so creamy, so good. You guys should really make this. So, I highly recommend making this with kabocha squash. You can find it at Whole Foods or at the farmer's market. And kabocha squash is actually also known as a Japanese pumpkin. It's kind of like a texture between a squash and a pumpkin. And yeah, it's a really flavorful and really creamy squash. It almost tastes like buttery. So yeah. Get that kabocha.